The movie begins on Hashima Island, also known as Gun-Kajima. Hashima Island is located off the coast of Japan and has a large coal mine. It's a very busy day at the mine site. Korean workers are forced to work in harsh conditions, regardless of their age. A boy is forced into a small space to dig coal. Gas accidentally leaked while excavating, so he quickly ran for help. Mr. Y, the Korean leader, helps the three boys escape from the island and return to Korea. While escaping, he is captured and killed by the Japanese army. The Japanese are satisfied with killing 3 young refugees and receiving a large reward at the 19 Peninsula Hotel. In Myeongdong, a woman ran up to the stage and asked bandmaster Lee Kong, okay, to play some jazz. A police officer comes to arrest Lee on suspicion of having an affair with his wife, a high-ranking secretary. Lee's friends rushed to warn him, but he didn't understand at first, so he continued acting. Finally, he saw the wife of a senior secretary being dragged out the front door, so he and his daughter hurried away at the hotel. Lee meets a police officer who explains that there is nothing wrong with him and his senior secretary's wife. A police officer named Gassen offers Lee and his bandmates jobs in Japan in exchange for money. Mr. Lee's dream is to work in this country where salaries are high. So this makes a lot of sense. Lee takes a boat to Shim-Asi with his daughter and bandmates and thinks about Japan's bright future. A gangster named Choi Chil-sung gets into a fight with another gangster. The Japanese men douse them with water and threaten to treat them as traitors and shoot them if they did not stop. A woman named Mna Young warns them that if they don't stay quiet, the Japanese military will use bullets instead of water. Choi grabs Mna Young's hair in retaliation. She grabs sensitive parts of his body. He had no choice but to ask the gang members to just sit down. The riot ended when a Japanese man fired a gun. The ship arrives at Shimport in Japan. Mr. Lee asks a Japanese official about Mr. Shera's whereabouts and shows him a letter of recommendation from prosecutor Suki Yma and C. But sources say there are a lot of shots there. The letter falls, and Lee is surprised to find that there are others, just like the one he has. Lee and his bandmates are forced to board a train bound for another ship. Lee gives a Rolex watch to a big Korean boss in exchange for his daughter. Suddenly, a Japanese officer came up to him and asked him to sing a Japanese song. After the performance, the manager of Hashima Mine comes out to greet the Koreans and convey the importance of their country's coal. While being inspected by the Japanese, Koreans are forced to take off their clothes and cut their hair. Seeing Rishi's children practicing for battle reminds him of her daughter. Korean women head to the dormitory in the entertainment district. Japanese women are angry when they see her. The Japanese military escorts the Koreans to their dormitories and explains their salaries and deductions. Their rooms and food are very dirty and disgusting looking. They are very disappointed in their salaries because they have a lot of deductions and it seems like they're working for debt rather than to earn money after a hard day's work. Koreans take a bath together. Mr. Choi is extremely disappointed in the way Korean leaders treat his fellow countrymen. Therefore, he asks Lee to translate a message to the Japanese military that he wants to challenge the current Korean big boss, and if he wins, he will replace him. The Japanese military is very happy to see Koreans fighting each other. Choi defeats Korea's big boss. Mr. Yan stops them and says that only Japanese people like them. Choi didn't care what Een said, and she continued to tell the Japanese that she was the new big boss of South Korea. The Japanese laughed at him and ordered him to go to the employment office. Later, Lee and his bandmates happily sing to congratulate Choi on the other side of the island. Korean women, including Mol, Nyang and Soy, are forced to drink with managers and Japanese officials. Suddenly, they play the music that Soy was originally singing. She asks Mol Neon to tell her manager that she's the one singing this song and tearfully performs it to prove it there. He told them that she was part of a famous Korean orchestral group and was going to the island with her father and his bandmates that night. The manager allows him to meet his father A. At the Korean OSS base camp in China, South Korean officials spoke with Park Ma-young, who graduated with the highest honors in military studies and said they believed that was why he decided to go to Gun-Kajima. To save Yoon, Mr. Park arrives safely on the island and meets Mr. Yoon at the coal mine site. Unfortunately, an accident occurred on the premises to prevent further damage. The administrators ordered the bombing of the affected area and the burial of all Korean workers, but they were unaware of this since Mr. Yoon was also there. He quickly called the local authorities to stop the bombing, thinking that if Mr. Yoon died, the Koreans would start a rebellion. With Park's help, the Koreans managed to escape death. Mr. Park reveals his true identity to Mr. Y and his team and tells them that he came to save the old man. He informed them of his plans to use telegram to communicate with OSS agents in South Korea. A ship with food comes to the island and they use it to escape. Although the team doubts Mr. Park's identity, Mr. Park proves his good intentions by relaying the general's message to Mr. Young. That night, the manager calls Lee and suggests that she give CO half to the first mate who lost his daughter in the air raid. He also added that helping Soj escape from the dangerous island is the best option. Lee hears this and goes outside to look for her daughter. The two dance happily under the telephone pole. Mr. Park and the independent Korean soldiers asked Mr. Lee to obtain a postal key in exchange for money. He's hesitant at first, but is convinced when Park says that in order to release Mr. Young, he must use telegram to communicate with a Korean OSS agent. Hearing this, he agrees to cooperate if Park promises to release him and his daughter as well. That night, Park successfully infiltrates the post office and informs the Korean OSS of the situation. They ask how many people will be saved, but he does not mention the names of the four, including Mr. Lee and Mr. Suki, but answers that it is only himself. And Mr. Yu, before leaving the post office, he suddenly saw a locker with the words Korean Mutual Aid Benefits Association written on it. Inside the box was evidence that Mr. Y received large sums of money from the salaries of Korean workers. The next morning, they were surprised by an announcement that they should not leave their seats because they were expecting an American air raid. Mr. Park wakes him up and tells him it's time to escape. On the way out, Lee sees So Hee and is very disappointed, thinking that she will be leaving without her, and rushes to pick up So Hee. Mr. Park takes Mr. Yoon to an abandoned room and tells him that he has seen documents showing receipt of blood money. Although Young denies the allegations, he's convinced that Park agrees with the Japanese. He realized that the reason the Koreans' escape plans always failed was because Mr. Yoon told the Japanese, so Mr. Park points a gun at Mr. Yoon. However, Mr. Lee suddenly enters the room and believes Mr. Y's accusation against Mr. Park that he is a spy. One of the members of Mr. Y's team comes and grabs So Hee. When the place suddenly explodes due to a bomb from America, Park throws the evidence at him. Lee finds the evidence and goes into hiding with Seal High. The entire island is destroyed by bombs. The Koreans try to escape, but the Japanese army closes the entrance gate and leaves the Koreans alone. Furthermore, he learns that he's reading a book that proves his wrongdoing and shoots the man. Fine. Afterwards, he pretends to be innocent in front of the Koreans and searches for Lee and Ko Hee, but he cannot find them because they are hiding in an empty room. Fortunately, Park survives and Lee helps him recover from his wounds. The Japanese are protesting and demanding that the Koreans leave the island. A Korean big boss rapes and kills a Japanese girl, further worsening tensions between Koreans and Japanese. In order to hide what he had done, he becomes a witness and makes Troy a suspect. And for this, he is arrested and tortured by the Japanese military. Mr. Young meets the new administrator and tells him of his plan to kill all remaining Koreans so that no one remembers what happened on the island. Young gathers all the Koreans and tells them that he has already negotiated with the Japanese side and they have agreed to improve their quality of life and even send the injured back to Korea, which makes them very happy. He then tells them that tomorrow they must enter the mine and participate in the ritual of a new beginning. Mr. Park screams and refuses, telling the Koreans that Mr. Yoon is a bad person, and that tomorrow the Japanese army will kill them all in the mine. The man with glasses and Co. High also testified that Yoon killed the members. They learned were in contact with Japanese people. Unfortunately, Koreans remain divided. There are still people who oppose this plan and want to talk to the Japanese. Finally, one boy expressed his desire to escape and convinced most of the Koreans to follow him. Those who oppose the plan will be tied down. After all, they start planning before the sun rises. They also acquire weapons and manufacture bombs to protect themselves. Koreans and Japanese fight and many people are killed. The manager shoots Park and takes Ko High prisoner. Park, who tried to kill the girl, throws a stone at the girl's head. Park stood up and decapitated the manager, ending the fight. He shouts that the war is over and he will return to Korea. Unfortunately, Lee dies from blood loss and asks Park to take care of his daughter, and the movie ends here.